Hi, and welcome back to It Takes a Village. I'm Jenny Shultz-Thomas, and I am joined here with my friend, Chef Djamil. We are so happy to have you. Thank you.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for having me.
Oh, gosh. You know, here on It Takes a Village, we talk about the beauty of building community and really what it looks like to create communities of belonging. I know we've talked a lot about belonging. I would say, oh gosh, you know, I've been looking forward to this conversation because every time I see you, it doesn't matter if it's at Lola's, at the coffee shop, or it's at the church, or Tri-Faith, or out, you know, you always have a smile. You always have this sort of glow about yourself that reminds me of the best of humanity. It's sort of this, you know, community is like a walking, you know, cute glasses and Mr. Man here talking about what it is to be fully alive. And so every time I see you, it's this great new opening, just like before this podcast started, right? The generative conversation when you allow yourself to be fully present. So thank you for being here. I have so many questions for you that I want our folks to hear and learn more about you. But firstly, just talk to us about, you know, who you are. You're a chef. You're here running a foundation and a catering business. You're so much more than that. You have a really interesting background. Not only culinary, but you came here and you were an accountant, you've been in the corporate world. Like, so why leave all that and why sit here today and talk about community and belonging through food?
You know, thank you for having me, by the way. You know, thank you for making me part of the village now. You know, it's just, I think sometimes we go on some path that we cannot explain, we don't understand. Like from you going to Africa, you know, traveling, and we're talking about operating, bringing. And then also for me, you know, what I saw from my father, you know, and then growing up, what I thought I was going to be, a lawyer or an accountant, and sitting here, and then my path bringing me to this campus, to Tri-Faith, you know, and then also to the village at Countryside, you know, podcast. It's just things that normally will come if you are that kind of person, right? You know, life brings you there. I think that's kind of how I can explain it, you know. Why I became a chef, really, I didn't think I would be a chef, right? Cooking was how I won my mom, but on my mother's side, there's also this, you know, linear history where my great-grandfather worked for the French and the German as a cook and a helper, you know, and a chauffeur. So he learned how to cook because Africa is a very patriarchal society.
Yes.
So, you know,
I do. Just wanting to cook, you know.
Yeah. So they passed that down, and my mom passed that down to me. So when she passed away in 2005, that was how I was mourning her. That was just how I was just, you know, keeping her memory alive. Right. But it became more than just a passion. I was like, you know, there's something really calling me to this, you know, so let me find out. And then I dropped everything, you know, became a chef. Fast forward, you know, then I worked into the corporate, and I realized that you talk about it takes a village. Yes, there is a village that's been built in Omaha, Nebraska, and also in Nebraska in general. Nebraska at time has either the most immigrant refugees that are settling here or the second largest one. And Nebraska's population is growing.
Right.
It's growing. I think we're about 2 million now, I believe, and it's mostly because of foreign-born new Americans that are here also. And so to me, it's like I realized, or I saw the void when it comes to the representation, you know, in the culinary field. You know, it's like, okay, we don't have a lot of people that can offer some food that represent this community, right? And I was like, I need to do something about that. Hence the creation of the foundation to work with a lot of immigrant refugees to help them integrate into America. At the same time, also help Americans to discover this community. And that's how, you know, naturally coming to Tri-Faith the first time and then seeing what Tri-Faith is about. And we just started this work because I felt like this space also is about that, bringing people together. And, you know, you and I just, you know, start talking, and then we just hit it off because we are the same people. The same glow you talk about me, just the same glow that you have, you know. So that's really why. And then it just makes sense that, you know, this kind of work that we all do get to talk about at a village at Countryside.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, I love it. So the village, you know, when you think about Nebraska, I mean, think about Africa, you know, I think about the planet, I think of people and the created world, right? The natural world, right? Some of it is continuing to be, you know, compromised, right? This sort of lack of integrity that we have with the planet. So I hear you talk about the earth, right? And the beauty that is natural with food. And then this lack of understanding how to cultivate, right, that food in a way that brings the people and the food together, which is sort of the only kind of holistic way to live. And so I want to fast forward. You've talked about Nebraska, and you sort of have seen the people, right, coming together. And this obviously being a really rich place to land and to be, an opportunity for immigrants has been such a huge part of Nebraska's legacy, especially here in Omaha. So as you were starting this out, coming to Tri-Faith, how have you seen Omaha embrace you and what you're bringing or not, right? Has there been resistance? And how would you see, I mean, you fully embrace on this comments and you're doing just this deep, dignifying human first work. But how have you seen it in Omaha, and where are there challenges to continue to break down those barriers with food and with people, maybe even preconceived or unconscious bias around what you eat or the people who feed you?
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think, thank you for that question. You're right. I think there's probably more resistance within the industry than outside the industry. When I say industry, I'm talking about the culinary field.
Yes.
And that resistance partially, for my belief is the lack of education, the lack of knowledge about this tradition, this culturally affirming cuisine. And then also we just stay with what we know, right?
That's
This is
right.
the cuisine that we know. And then we don't want to try something else because either we haven't had a chance to travel, be open to the world, and then we just continue with what we know. So this is the reason why our approach is threefold, to teach the community at large, everybody that lives in Omaha, to teach the new and future immigrant chefs, right? And also to teach the youth as well. So the youth can grow up, also have this. We do have another option also on the program that we haven't yet started because of capacity, to work with the Metropolitan Community College, the one that I graduated from, to also get those chefs that are in the industry to be able to also learn a bit about it, right? Like we invite them to just come learn. We're not asking you to change your cuisine, but if you want to learn this and then maybe start implementing this as a special in your food, in your offering, that will open the door. And also, if you want to hire some of our graduates, then you have somebody that can do it. When I was coming up in the hotel industry, the challenge was you can cook here and we want you here because you went to school, you learned this. But really, what was the problem is that folks that were foreign to Nebraska or new American that were coming here, they weren't able to be there and have the food that they wanted.
That's right.
And sometimes I could cook that food, but I was told, no, it's not on our menu.
Oh.
So that's what really sparked this. I was like, wait a minute, I'm here. I can make this food.
I'm on the menu.
And then I can just, make it for these people that want to spend money in your, establishment, but you don't want to offer them that, right?
Yes.
That's where I started. So the people have embraced this more than the industry, if I can say that today, right? But I'm not blaming the industry, and I don't want to think that's because they don't want to.
Yeah.
I believe it's because of the lack of opportunity to learn, a lack of opportunity for somebody that is either like educated like them. When I say them, I'm talking went to culinary school or went to is a chef, proven themselves, that can bring it up.
Yes.
Because sometimes also that's what we lack as a new American. We don't know how to take our food and present it in a way that somebody from America will understand and like it. People eat it with their eyes, fits the way. So that's what we're trying to teach here also. We're trying to just bring it, the holistic approach. You mentioned that. I love that because that's how I saw this. Because I knew that just having a restaurant in the corner somewhere is not going to solve this. How can I bring everybody in? Teaching the future chef, teaching the community. So when I go to Waterloo, when I go to Plymouth, when I go to Pittsburgh, in the hill there and do a wedding, people are not asking me for stuff that I've learned, at the culinary school. They're asking me to bring this cuisine that are different, are new, and then the flavor, all that kind of thing. So it's a work in progress. I think we just need to continue this and believe that the village will partake into this.
Yes.
Right? That's just what the work is. So the resistance is no I haven't seen, because the magic of food, right? The power of food.
Yeah.
And like I said,
it's magical.
Yeah,
it's so good. You have to eat it. It's amazing. It will turn you. Oh, it's alive.
A believer, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So that's what it is. So, and then I love, and I believe solely believe in the fact that when you truly love somebody's food, you can't hate them.
That's
and
so true.
So far, I haven't been proven wrong. Because the food will melt you. The food will get you. The food is the normalizer. Yes. The food is the catalyzer. So that's what I'm happy that everywhere that we've been, from churches to community places to, different, city, different states, the food has allowed us to bring people together, and then to also bring the people that are about this food in the room also. And this is really what we're trying to do. The work that we're trying to do is just make sure that we bring all these new Americans, so we show the culture, the humanity, the persona in a way that you will accept it, or at least you will avoid those bias, those misconceptions, and the narrative that you hear every time. And then if you can sit down and share their food, then maybe you can, take the time to get to know them and have a better understanding. Sorry, I took a long time to explain this.
No, I mean, you just basically, we here Takes a Village, we're at Countryside, as people of faith, right?
Yes.
What do we have faith in? We have faith in love to overcome difference, right? We talk about that all the time here on It Takes a Village. It takes a village really to point to the sameness that exists within each one of us, right?
Yes.
We can talk about our differences all the time. Here on Tri-Faith, we understand that, right?
Yes.
We have some differences, but more often than not, we're laughing across the table with someone that the world has said you're supposed to be enemies, not friends.
Yes.
You don't have anything in common.
Yep.
I've traveled in so many places, had the luxury of sitting across the table with so many amazing people who are doing really important work, right? Northern Ireland, the Troubles, right? One of those age-old complications of relationship where difference, right, and your enemy becomes such a construct rather than anything real, that the time of dealing with those differences and breaking down the barriers, right, it's lasted way too long, but that work continues in peace building and peacemaking. And the way that they do it is they bring people who have differences, right, together, even people whose family members had killed each other, and over food and tea and conversation, right, they start to rehumanize what the world has tried to take from them. And so you are doing this in such a beautiful, natural way.
Thank you.
At a table. Here we talk about, God's great wide table. That we all belong at the same table. And so as you name these differences, what you're really saying, right, is the psychology around difference and what people have been, ingrained to think and then perpetuate. Is that if I don't understand it, there must be something wrong with it. If if I haven't seen it before, if it's new to me, then I should be afraid of it, right? But you are beautifully taking those barriers one at a time, one hors d'oeuvre at a time, one peanut sauce at a time, one plate of amazing rice at a time, and sitting at the table and offering people a human first experience that is deeply transformative. There's no other way to find belonging, right, than to be eating someone's food. And I think that's more powerful than what we can talk about. You just sit at the table, have a conversation, and that food, right, is the deep nourishment of the soul that moves you from a place of discomfort and fear to a place of seeing yourself and someone else. Then you're laughing at the bad joke that the chef made, because, he has pretty bad jokes, just going to say.
You said it beautifully, right? And then and what I like about this, Pastor Jenny, is that we can sit here have a conversation easily, because you asked me earlier, how did I get to countryside? How did I get to, the common, my upbringing, you mentioned it, right? Come from a Muslim family, my fathers, if I can use that word, were preachers, they were imams. Travel from Mali, coming down, preaching Islam all the way to Togo. And then my great-grandfather settled in Togo. On my father's side, my father, was, plucked from the family because to go to school. So that's what it was back then. They would come and then say, it is the one. And then, influential family. And he went to school, but he sent me to Catholic school because he wanted me to have a good education, because everybody knows that if you go to Catholic school, I mean, you have that stern, education. So he took some heat for that, right? He was open enough, right, if you can say that, to send me there. But he wasn't open enough to have me in the kitchen cooking, though. He hated that, right?
So patriarchal society,
you see
my
the
son?
Contrast, though?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But you can go to Catholic school. People can say whatever they want to say, but I want you to, even though I'm a Muslim, but go there, but don't be in the kitchen.
Don't be in the kitchen.
But I learned a lot from my father because, I've seen him be a leader where people come to and then people will just seek advice. I've seen a lot. He was in politics also, right? I have these pictures of him with the Pope Jean Paul II, right?
Wow.
People with the picture with the Yasser Arafat, picture with the Yakubu Gowon, I can go on. When those head of states would come to Togo, right? They would go to, so that has and if you told me that, if you told me this, it was something that was preparing me to be able to come here, sit down with you, have a conversation like this, I would have said, what are you talking about? But I was in do you know how reading the Bible, the Quran, and Torah, and then as Jehovah's Witness will also walk around, I'll sit down and have the pamphlet to read with them and just talk with them. So I was always fascinated about that, right? So Tri-Faith was already in me as I was growing up without even knowing that it was there in me, because just so. That's why it was easy for me when I came here the first time. I was like, something's possible here because of the mission I'm trying to do, also because of people that we work with. In our cohort, you see people from Myanmar, Afghanistan, Gambia, Togo, Ghana, Burkina Faso, Ukraine, people from South America. Like, you don't see that anywhere, when it comes to culinary training organization in Omaha, So it's important that, as you said, we use food to just get those misconceptions out. The psychology of food, like I say, if it's strange to me, it's because it was not good. No. So we find a way to normalize everything else. The same way that I'm asking American to just like jenkume or jollof rice, I'm also telling newcomers that, hey, spaghetti squash, butternut squash, cauliflower, it's also good food. Because we don't know, we don't have it, we don't grow it, but it's food that you can also. So how do we bring that, how do we build that village just using food, And beyond that also, it's also making sure that if somebody comes to America and call Nebraska home and then they want to be in the culinary field, they have a chance to. Not all of them have 2 years like I had an opportunity to be able to go to college to become a chef. Yeah. Some of them, cooking is natural way for them to express themselves. And then we also have found this to be therapeutic. When we are in this whole room and then everybody is an immigrant that has come here, and then whether they were running from trauma, and then most of them refugee and immigrant here, settling here, and they want to just learn these skills, or they want to also pursue entrepreneurial, because, a lot of immigrants start business in America. This is an opportunity for a safe place for them to try first to say, okay, how do I know about this? How do I learn this? And what's important for me is that they do it the right way also. If we try to just normalize this, it has to be done properly. So Hasaba Foundation is a training facility that allow them to learn all that, to be able to grow as a professional, right? And then we go to these different programs for the adult, for the kids as well, so they don't forget the culture. And then now on the social enterprise end, what we are working toward is the public benefit, corporation, where people don't not only work, but they also be a shareholder. Because I don't want this to be just about me.
Right.
I don't want to be the only one, right? I want to be able to create an ecosystem where you come, you learn, you can be part of this village where you are also a shareholder, but you work for this company. We build wealth together. That's great. So now we can have this food offering space where immigrant and refugees are working, and then bringing everybody together, but they know that I'm not just working and I'm just gonna just retire one day, but I'm building something for me as well also. That's what we're trying to work toward. And then that's why having the opportunity to know folks like you and then Tri-Faith in the countryside, it's important that because it's the synergy of what we're doing, that's what it brings us.
Gosh, the House of Bah Foundation, it's so much more to learn and to hear. We've talked so much about the village. One of the things that occurs in a village, right, in small communities, but in village type communities, is that each new child who's born in that village learns the way of the village, right? Yes. Last year, we had this wonderful opportunity to partner with you, with our own children and families here for House of Bah Wednesday nights, right? And we kicked it off with this wonderful village dinner. And both of my children were in this program, House of Bah, learning to cook these foods, learning about cooking, learning about being in the kitchen, and learning about the beauty of the shared community who is coming together to resource themselves, right? My kids came home after that program. First of all, they were so excited. They didn't want to miss a single week. And I think it was tornadoed out, snowed out, multiple times. And it was so sad. Why can't we have a House of Bah? So they went through that program, and a few weeks in, both of my kids are at home grabbing off the cookbooks and putting them all on the dining room floor. Wow. And my son is 12 years old. Talk about the patriarchy, don't cook. Yeah. It's not that we're a patriarchal family. He has two moms, for goodness sake. But he's sort of like, what's for dinner? I'm going to play baseball. He's down on the floor with his sister, looking and choosing out foods they want to cook. And so the next week, we started making family dinners.
Wow.
And they made their very own penne pasta dish for all of us. And we still have that pinned on the refrigerator. They both made recipe things for Shannon and I. It was kind of this like, ooh, we're going to make it for you, even though I helped make it. Yeah. But then it's pinned on the refrigerator. And we talk a lot about what it looks like, right, to build community.
Yes.
This is just within my own household where I have made their baby food from scratch. And we talk about food and giving, but this was a different level where they had an experience learning not only about food, but learning together around that small kitchen down there with the pots and their hats, that it really does take a village to feed each other.
Yes.
And you have talked about the depths of that word. It's nuanced, right? We are feeding our souls with this wonderful food, but we are feeding each other when we allow those differences to fall away. And what comes together is this deep, amazing human spirit that says, this is so much fun because we are getting to know each other. We are taking a step forward in the community. So It Takes a Village begins at the earliest age. I know that you offer classes for all age groups. You've been doing this here on the Tri-Faith Commons around Omaha, but you are a small team. You put out so much amazing. I have partaken of many dishes.
Yes.
And it seems like you've got 25 people, in that kitchen just ironing out left and right. But really it's you and a few of your team. So tell us, how does that look like? What does it look like to be in the kitchen with Chef Djamil?
I'm glad you mentioned that. It's actually I'm the only full-time, staff of Hasselblad Foundation.
Wow.
And I became full-time last year.
Wow.
I founded Hasselblad Foundation in 2020, during the pandemic. And we are a small nonprofit still growing. We have now contracted chef that this year, I've taken the load off me. And we have one contracted, on director development. And we have one contracted operation coordinator, do it all, right? But I'm the only full-time staff. We still don't have health insurance. We don't offer health insurance.
Right.
But when people see what we do, people think that we're a huge team, right?
Exactly.
It's the passion. It's the passion and then the belief in the mission, Because I believe that we are the voice for the voiceless. And I believe hugely in what we're trying to accomplish, which is to really show immigrant refugees in different limelight, especially now that we have this misconception and then so much, wrong rhetoric, going around, So I want to just show us in the different. I've lived in Omaha now for 22 years, 2003, So I call Omaha home, right? And then Nebraska, just like me, also there's so many that have called Nebraska home now, like I say, fear. They run away from trauma, and then war, all that kind of thing. So, and then our core group is also immigrant led. To be honest with you, but that doesn't stop us from doing what we're doing. So, in the kitchen with us, when you have the class I just mentioned right now, the composition of our class right now, right? We have two cohorts going on right now. One that we're doing at Trafford, one that we're doing at Yates Luminerum, Yates building. So it's the combination of that, the hope, the faith in each other, right? And the shared, value that we all have because we all are new to this land and we all want to succeed in this land. We all want to call this home. And we all understand that we have to come together, and then we all just, even though English is the only language that we will say that bring us together, and some don't even speak English yet because they've been here less than a year. The love of food, the language of food brings us together. So when we in there, we just cook, and then what I'm telling you right now is the same thing that I share with the class participants. The same thing that I share with anybody that works for Hasselblad Foundation. You have to believe in this thing. If you don't believe in this thing, you will not find yourself at home at Hasselblad Foundation. So because everybody that comes believe in these things, from this staff member that I just named right now to the participant in the cohort, they know that this work is important. I tell them it's not about us. It's a long line behind us. It's about our shared story that we're trying to, change right here. It's about the shared narrative we're trying to change. And then it's about the kid, the joy, right? We taught your kid how to make food from Burkina Faso, food from Angola. And then at the same time, we teaching other African kids how to make lasagna, how to make butternut squash soup, how to make jerked, or something. It's bringing the culture, intertwine them, so we understand that food is food. So we all come together. So that's what we do, right? So whether we are doing something right here, whether it's at the Bohemian Garden or whether it's at the Florence Meal, any opportunity that we have to put what we call cultural affirming cuisine, because it's not just a cuisine, but it's cultural affirming because it's bringing the people, the culture, normalizing all that. It's an opportunity for us to share that story. It's an opportunity for us to just create awareness to the culture, to the people, right? So that's just, and we learn, right? So mentioning the foundation and the social enterprise arm, that's where the graduates earn income. So once we finish the training from the foundation arm, where you learn all this, classes are free to them. We don't charge anybody to take our class. Its participation is free of charge. When you're done, most of them, we put them into also other restaurant or any place that we can hire them. We have a lady now that's from Ukraine that works at Le Voltaire. We have some folks that are going to start working at Clean's Eat. And the bulk of it, though, that's where they come to the social enterprise arm, right? They work for Hasaba Food Group, as we do catering, as we do pop-up, as we do all this kind of thing, right? So that's where we want to build that wealth, right? How can we go about have a permanent thing so these folks can work? That's what we're really working towards right now. If I can say this on this, podcast, we are, trying to find ways to raise funds for a facility where we can start doing this on a permanent basis. Where you can come, and that this is the space, if somebody were to come, and because so far we've been doing this from borrow space, right? And then, it's like we would to believe that if we say we have 2 cohorts of 21 people, it's not from our own facility, it's from borrow space, So a kitchen of that is the village. If I can put it that way.
The kitchen is the village.
Yeah, being with the Hasaba or being with Hasaba Foundation, in the kitchen is like a village where we come together and then cook and then, trying to get this out there. So that's kind of how it is. The passion is what's driving this.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a small but mighty team. I think one of the most important things, I, of course, am sold. I love you. I love your team. I love your food.
Thank you.
But more importantly, I know the power of human transformation. And when every change starts with someone who believes more and has a defiant hope about them, right? Believes in what's coming, right? And sometimes you don't even manifest that. I mean, Jane Goodall, right? She passed away yesterday. One of those amazing, hopeful warriors who decided that I really don't know what the science says about animals, that they have dual personalities and they can't bring, right? She just defied the odds and did her thing. And she transformed what we think about the animal kingdom. Right? So every person has the opportunity to make this lasting change. And I see you doing that on a much bigger scale than what even we're able to communicate right now. But what's really needed is this deeper support, right? A sustainability. These immigrants coming to work for you. These are friends. These are amazing women cooking in that kitchen. These are men looking for career paths, right? That they can sustain their families on. So House of Bah, needs the support financially to support all of these individuals that really support Omaha and who we are as a state. What are we really proud of? We're proud to be a community that says all can find a way here. And the world right now is sending negative messages, right? Horrible messages that dehumanizing individuals across each and every day. We're hearing these stories. So that means that this work is even more important, that we understand that it's not just about food. It's about creating holistic safety, right? And lifelong opportunities for thriving. So as we continue to partner, I'm so excited that you are here among us, that we are friends, that you have just given us this time and that you continue to be present here on the Tri-Faith Commons, knowing that there's still something here, that God is at work here in this, at AMI, in our Muslim community, our Jewish community, our Christian community, in any and every community that wants to walk through these doors. So thank you, Chef Djamil. It's so great to have you today.
Thank you, Jenny. I can't say, more than what you said, define hope, you got to be hopeful. If you're not hopeful, you can do this, right? And that's what it is like, that seed of hope, like, the late Barack Obama, President Barack Obama will say, that's really what it is. I'm hopeful. And then, and that's what really drives this, right? Some days it's difficult, but I believe in that, and that's that common hope that is bringing us right here. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can't wait till next time. Thank you all. We'll see you next time on It Takes a Village.